This is the week to wipe the slate clean, press the reset button, and start fresh. We have a pretty quiet week ahead, but there's a lot of supportive energies that are helping us to move ahead, especially in doing things in a new way. So think outside the box and let's get ready to go. Hey everyone, it's Christine. Welcome to this week's weekly energy forecast for the week of January 29th to February 4th. I have here pressing reset and starting fresh. So let's take a moment. How are you all doing right now? Check in because we have almost nearly completed 1 month of 2024 and it's already gone by very fast. And I feel, at least for me, that this was simply an extension of 2023. And perhaps because time really doesn't exist and we can get into all of that, it's simply a cycle and we're simply continuing what it is that we've been working on, making progress, healing, and moving forward in life and in general. So check in with yourself at this time. What have you learned about yourself? What have you released? What are you ready to go towards? What do you no longer resonate with? Or what no longer makes sense for you in this point in your life? Comment down below, share an emoji, perhaps with how you're feeling or how you are wanting to feel. So as we enter February, we start off with a more pensive month. And I feel like it has been and there will continue to be opportunities for clearing the slate, pressing the reset button, and learning to do things in a different way that aligns with where it is that we're going. Let's get started. Again, quick reminder, all times are in Eastern Standard Time, New York City time for reference. So be sure to update that wherever you're located for the most precise effects. On January 29th, we have Mars in Capricorn trining Uranus in Taurus, wiping the slate clean. This is an opportunity as we start February to try something new passions, new interests, new activities, meeting new people, trying different ways of communicating, expanding your interest circles, things that you do, because I feel like you're going to get, through your intuition, I got a lot of psychic energy here, especially with Uranus, to use your energy in a new way and to follow that. And you may feel revved up because it's something fresh, it's different, and it allows you to make progress in an area of your life that's different, but that you've been wanting to for a long time. It's back in the last video, I mentioned like water, for example. If some of you want to increase your water consumption, you may have struggled and tried and it wasn't getting you anywhere. And with this energy, it's about doing things differently, trying something new. It could be different water flavors, using fruits or vegetables, for example, a different container. Sometimes containers have the biggest impact, whether it's straw or a cup with a little hole thing, or using a gallon of water, whatever it is, or setting phone reminders to make sure that you take a sip. Whatever it is, there's something I feel that's going to create some type of breakthrough in an area of your life that you want to make progress towards. If there's something you've also been wanting to get off the ground and start, but perhaps you've procrastinated or you've tried so many ways where you're like, oh, I don't want to do this again, this could be a good time to do this. Pick it back up and restart that again, because this energy with Uranus and with Mars together gives us that oomph, that amp, that increased drive and energy to make progress and more so to initiate. Excellent time to start a new workout routine, perhaps a new way of planning, digitizing, organizing your life, whether it's paper, like planners, or digital, or using a combination of both, because I kept getting a lot about planning something. So the way that you plan your routines, your systems, could have a huge impact on the rest of your goals too, because once you have those in place, it makes everything else much easier to check in on progress, to reflect, etc. We have a lot of earth energy here, so starting something long-term, something that you want to put your energy towards in a new way again, that's going to give you the results that you want, is especially conducive with this energy. Mars is in Capricorn, and both love to initiate and move forward. Mars is comfy in Cap. Uranus isn't so much in Taurus, but there's a shift here in values that are happening. So again, think back to what you are prioritizing right now, what's important, or the area of your life that's being highlighted with these transits, because this can pay off long term in the form of a greater foundation, greater stability, and simply doing things with more intention. On February 2nd, we have Mercury in Capricorn, sextiling Neptune in Pisces, and we also have the third quarter moon in Scorpio. This is about grounding your dreams in reality. You know, it's interesting, and it's going to depend and vary for everyone, depending on the energies in your chart and simply where you are at this point in your journey. A lot of us, we're all creative creatures, and we get so many great ideas, but a lot of times we don't connect that to ways we can ground this into reality, into earth. So we collect, whether it's energetically or on paper, where you have a lot of ideas that kind of stay dormant. We collect these ideas, these dreams, these hopes, goals, and nothing ever happens to them. So this week, especially with the Uranus energy, if you're feeling particularly inspired, you get a spark, a little flame within you, or a big ass flame, and you're like, whoa, I really want to try that. Go for it. Isn't it interesting? Have you heard of those stories where people go and they're like, I have to go get milk, and it's late at night, and it's usually not the time they get milk? And I'm using this as an example. They go and then they meet someone that helps them on their goals and their life changes. It's like that energy, I feel. You simply don't know what's going to come up. So really stay connected and in touch with what you're feeling, what's guiding you, what's pulling to you, what's calling your interest, what's making you feel curious or gravitating towards, because those are nuggets, intuitive nuggets that your soul is asking you, follow that crumb, go. I wish we could get signs, kind of like signs we see on the road or highway, or markers that are telling us, yes, pay attention to this crumb, or dismiss that. But it's all about feeling into it. So here, a lot of psychic messages and downloads with Uranus and Neptune in the mix this week, and especially with the third quarter moon in Scorpio. Both Mars and Mercury want us to bring our dreams into reality. And sometimes we can think, because our dreams can seem a bit, at times, maybe more detached, more evasive, more distant, we're like, I don't know if that's possible. But it is. And it always starts off with an imagination. Just imagine folks that have created like amusement parks or different stories, or writers, some of the books or series. Like, what's the one? Harry Potter. This all came, like all of those different stories, creative endeavors and projects came from someone's imagination. So imagine what each of us has in there stored, that's circulating in there and waiting to come out and be born. And many of you, and those of you that are connecting to this video, have something creative that wants to be born. And it doesn't have to be something you have to do in 24 hours, because that can lead to overwhelm. So really pay attention to the messages coming through this week. You're going to get glimpses. This is what I channeled. I kept seeing glimpses of future timelines happening now, and you may not completely connect that or understand it. It's like a larger puzzle piece. This is why I recommend writing things down and keeping some type of journal, or simply where you can know, okay, today this is a message I got, or I dreamt of this, or I heard this song, and you know it has some type of meaning for you. You will find that relationship or linkage down the road. And I feel like this week you're going to see almost like picture frames. For any of you that are familiar with what are those Polaroids? Polaroids, where they instantaneously came out, not the 35 millimeter. That's what I'm sensing here. You may see images or feel. Sometimes, depending on how you receive psychic messages, you may see it in your mind, or you may feel that energy and you're like, whoa, I feel like something positive is going to happen here and it's going to lead me, but you don't know yet. So really pay attention. I kept getting a lot of clairaudient messages too, and that's one of my big ones, but I kept hearing a lot of songs in the collective. So pay attention to songs around you, especially if you're asking a question for guidance or for clarity. The third quarter moon in Scorpio rules over the bladder and the intestine, large intestine, I should say. So there's a lot of energy around releasing, letting go, secretion, especially around waste. So anything that you no longer feel aligned to, even if it looks good, even if it sounds good, even if other people are telling you, yes, you're good at this, or this is great or successful, pay attention to how you're feeling. Because Scorpio, this energy is about diving into the depths of your psyche, of what you may know and what you may not know, but you're remembering, you're feeling it. That's why I kept getting that sensation of feeling a lot of these psychic messages. Some of you may be remembering and connecting to past lives, but also to future lives, future timelines, and you may not be able to differentiate. So really pay attention. Think about what you're ready to release and let go of. And I think that can be one of the scariest things. And I experienced that when I made some changes to this channel about moving forward and doing things a little bit differently, especially with like monthly tarot readings for zodiac signs. It kind of freaked me out. And I'm like, oh, it's kind of scary, because I was like, what does this mean? I have no idea what it means. I can only be led by what I'm getting and what I'm sensing. And that's what I'm picking up for this week. Anything that you're like, you know what, I'm not invested in this in the way that I used to, or it doesn't resonate with me, especially with my values or where I want to go. The Scorpio energy is asking you to really connect to yourself deeply and ask yourself, this is where the soul is, like taking time apart and reflecting. Whether you want to put on some type of frequency or simply go into a comfortable chair and just ponder or look out in the sky, take time to be with yourself, by yourself, for yourself, because these are where the insights are going to come. I felt like January, we had somewhat of a roller coaster in terms of emotions, feelings, and simply the energies. And I feel like there's going to be more of a, perhaps a consistency as we get into February, because there's a rather, it's like a putting on a different switch. I kept getting a freshness here. And I kept seeing a pack of gum. You know when you open up a new pack of gum? And I used to do this in winter because it would be extra like minty or tingly. That's what I was getting with this. And it doesn't have to be gum. It could be anything when you first open it, a pack of chips. You know, the first bite of anything is the best. You open up something like cereal, it's usually the most crispy or flavorful. It's like that. So just remember, with each lunar cycle, we're taking stock of what's working and what's not. So we can keep releasing what's not working and bringing in and going towards what is and where we want to go in general. So take this time this week. This is a great, like, in between time to rest, to again catch up. You see, these energies are very fluid. Nothing is set in stone. Nothing is linear. Things just keep going. Sometimes we go back, sometimes we go forward. And this week in February, it's a great time to simply be still and see what comes in. And with the Uranian energy, I feel like you may get just sudden bolts of knowing, sudden, again, to take a look at where your natal Uranus is, but also where it's transiting right now, Taurus. You may get sudden bolts of inspiration or something that comes to you, because this is also about receiving messages. Coming up, we have Mercury entering Aquarius next week. We have Mercury in Aquarius conjoining Pluto in Aquarius as well. This is also the last week for Mars in Capricorn. Let's get into the tarot forecast and see what else is happening. I'm excited for February. I feel like the energy is much softer. Comment down below, what has it been like for you? I'm so interested in everyone's personal experiences with transits, and whether they're monthly, you know, with the sun, or weekly with the moon. You know, the moon moves every 2-3 days, so it moves quickly throughout the week, or even in general throughout your year, because it's fascinating the themes many similar rising signs have and what you experience. Okay, let's take a look and see what else we need to know for this week. Don't forget to breathe. It's important to breathe. The breath holds a lot of our own consciousness, a lot of our own energy and energy of others. And sometimes, like, releasing the breath is as much a form of excretion, like the scorpionic rulership over the bladder and large intestine, as it is, you know, urinating or peeing. So be sure to breathe, because that's also very cleansing. Deep breathing, breathing in nature, breathing where there's, what is it? Clean air, maybe in mountain areas, again, nature. Okay, we got 3 cards here. We have the Hanged Man, patience. This is Pisces energy. Total energy that I'm feeling this week. Hanging out. Hanging by a limb. But here, with this energy, it's about percolating and allowing things to almost settle down. It's almost after it's rained and we allow the water to filter through into the soil and to be absorbed. This is going to be the week to absorb what's coming in, to feel where you are, to check in with the messages that you're receiving. Because Pisces, this is a receptive energy of, okay, you know what? I thought I was going to do this, but now that I've gotten this updated message, or now that I've gotten this new information, I'm going to be changing my aspirations, my goals, my trajectory in a different way. So this is a week where you may change some things, and that's okay. We have Knight of Wands. This is fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sag. There's a little bit, I got non-committal. In love, the Knight of Wands is not always the most committed energy in the deck. But I'll say with this, again, this isn't bad. This week, you may find out and realize things that you committed yourself to. You're like, you know what? I'm not really feeling it. Because with this water energy, it's about feeling into it and asking yourself, does this connect to my larger goals, to what I want to do, how I can be of service with my gifts, how I can contribute? So there's an energy here of things changing this week for you, especially as you're receiving these messages. So don't be afraid to navigate, to redirect, to pivot, to say no, to change your mind, if it's going to help you realign to what it is you really want to go towards. And that this is tricky, because I'll say there's going to be circumstances and instances where you may have to navigate carefully. So use your best judgment, your intuition, and feel into it. If there's something that you've committed to and you want to extricate yourself out and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. It happened to me a few years ago where I committed to a book review because my previous profession was in human rights, in human trafficking. And I remember after 6 months of that book just waiting, it was watching me. It was just on my desk. Apologies for my dogs. I kept getting this overburdened feeling. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I got a heaviness, and every time I looked at it, it was like dread. Finally, I messaged the person and I said, you know what, I'm really sorry, but I am no longer feeling connected to this project. I don't feel like I would be the best contributor to this. I'm happy to return the book and pay for shipping, etc. Because usually with book reviews, they give you the book or an advanced copy so you can do a review. And the person was very understanding. It just lifted a complete energetic weight. And I asked myself, this is something that I'm learning about being more intentional before saying yes. So again, this week, you may have a change of heart. You may have a realization where you want to go in a new direction. So take some time to reflect and be prudent with, again, saying yes, yes, yes to things just because they look good. There's a rule of thumb I learned from somewhere, maybe an article I read. This wasn't coming from me, but I remember someone saying, sleep on it. Think about it for 24 hours on anything before saying yes, even if it's something you ordinarily say yes to, even if it's something you normally would enjoy or love or envision enjoying or doing. Say, you know what? I will let you know. Give me 24 hours. I'll let you know by this date. And that allows you to really sit with it and ask yourself, do I have the time commitment or the bandwidth to do this? Do I really want to do this? How am I feeling? Does this help me move towards my goals or help me fulfill, service or helping others, whatever it is? This is the week that I'm feeling this type of reassessment. Let's get the third tarot card. We have King of Coins, Taurus energy. Coins represent Earth and Pentacle energy as well. So again, we're heading towards stabilization, creating a foundation, security, greater sense of safety, especially emotionally, but also outside reflective in our physical reality. So there's some undoing here, like saying no, perhaps withdrawing from commitments or goals or things that you have said yes to, and asking yourself, what do my long-term values mean for me? What does it look like? Am I heading down this path in a perhaps meaningful way, or do I have to do things differently? This speaks to also nurturing and caring for yourself, putting yourself first. No surprise, because until 2025, we have the overarching lunar nodes in Aries and Libra. So the North Node is in Aries, and there's a sense of creating an individuated path for yourself that increases, but includes a sense of sovereignty where you're not always trying to perhaps mimic, replicate, or be like others, but create your own path and your own sense of identity that's true to you, which is why values are huge. This Taurus energy brings up values, and they keep getting it every week. private readings and also in these collective readings. So make sure if you haven't set, revised, or updated your values, take some time to do that. That's your compass. I remember in my 20s, I'm like, yeah, who cares? And then in my 30s, I was like, okay, I'm getting warmer. It wasn't until my freaking late 30s where I finally assessed and took time to get clear on my values. And I'm like, shit, this is a game changer. Because then you realize what's important, where you're going to put your energy towards, what you're going to say yes to. Because, for example, family tends to be a huge core value for many folks. But what I've noticed is these people, and it's not always, but a lot of the folks I connected to, because I'm a former workaholic, we said that, but in practice, it didn't look that way. And I'm just like, shit, you have to practice your values. So that also is something to be conscious of. So there's a lot of changes happening this week. So just remember, if you've set your mind or committed to something, it's not too late. You can change it. It's going to relate to your long-term goals. I feel like many folks are really connecting to what is true for them, meaningful to them, what's important, what's going to create that sense of stability for them. And remember, stability doesn't always have to relate to money or a specific home design or any of that. It's going to be very different for everyone. So that's where your values are going to come into play. Let's take a look at Keepers of the Light. I pulled this oracle and see what else we need to know. What else do we need to know for this week? We're doing things very differently. And I feel like with Pluto and Aquarius, we're going to start seeing that obviously over time, since that sucker moves slowly. We're going to start seeing that shift happening, especially wherever it is in our charts, wherever it's transiting. We have Lady Portia, Divine Order. Do what you feel is right. An important lesson is unfolding. It's purple. Purple tends to connect to crown chakra, also spirituality, royalty. It could be ancestral, also however you define it. Some of you, especially with the North Node in Aries, Chiron as well, but you're learning how to follow your own wisdom, your own intuition, even if it looks vastly different from others. Your friends, your family, it could be your significant partner, it could be the people that you work with, it could be society, culture. You could be doing something vastly different or simply pursuing things that make sense to you and that inside of yourself you're celebrating. Which ways? It's the Fool card energy, right? Aries, you're like that young kid hopping off to get an ice cream cone. That's the energy that you may be embodying and imbuing. So pay attention again, and I keep saying that what feels good to you is going to be important. Some of you are backing out of commitments, I feel, this week. Commitments, relationships. You're honoring yourself, which is huge. And we have this final deck. This is, which deck is this? Crap, I think this is Wisdom of the Hidden Realms. I should just create a list, like a manifest. Is that what they're called? Like a list? So I know all these cards because I forget their names quickly. We have the Ice Queen, ideas preserved, non-action entitlement. And we have number 10 here. We've got an owl here too, and there's winter. So there's a time of, like I mentioned earlier, of receptivity, receiving, resting in stillness. But this to me is a lot about introspection. It's difficult to really know what you desire and where you want to go in life if you don't take time to connect with yourself. It's really easy to do what other people do or to follow other people's steps, but they may not be yours. They may not be your own. And some of you are creating your own, which is why there's a lot of movement, a lot of kind of reconfiguring these Lego puzzle pieces in our lives that's happening this week. This is about listening to yourself. Again, with the owl, this is about your own inner wisdom. Ultimately, we're here, we can help one another, right? That's why we pursue mentors, teachers, guides, coaches, and folks that maybe have more experience or that have done this, right? But at the end of the day, we're also here at the same time simultaneously honing our innate source of light, of consciousness, wisdom, intuition, whatever you want to call it. I feel like some of you are practicing this muscle, practicing trusting yourself, listening to yourself, honoring your needs, even when other people around you are like, what? And that may be too. With the Aries energy, you don't always have to consult or tell other people. Sometimes it's better to simply keep it to yourself and pursue it. So this is an energy of pausing, a little bit like the patience, because something I feel is going to come through that's going to allow you to say yes. And as things are changing, you may not have that full yes yet. You all, I hope this reading helped. Comment down below. Does this resonate with you? What is going on? Sometimes when I'm doing these weekly energy forecasts, I feel like I'm in my own bubble, in an orb, in a little just bubble floating away. And I'm like, hello, is anyone out there? So let me know if this resonates, what's been going on for you. There's been a lot of introverted energy I've been feeling, a lot of folks keeping to themselves. I'm not surprised, and I totally get it. A lot of things have been shifting really quickly, and it's important to take time to recoup and take care of yourself. So I'm wishing you a week ahead of further clarity, of trusting yourself, of taking care of yourself in the best way possible, even if that means going pee, taking a shower, taking a nap, or simply just laying down. I will see you next week. Take care, and thank you for being here.